Millions of Britons will start to get warning alerts from the government and emergency services on their mobile phones or tablets from next month. Messages like this one will tell people if there is a life-threatening emergency, such as flooding or wildfires.
The first nationwide test of the wireless alert system will be in the early evening on the 23rd of April, and we're going to debate this with Ateh Jewel and Peter Bleskley. But first, Pip Thompson is going to explain how this system will look and how it works.
Morning. Yes, well, it's very much like a text message in a way. Even if your phone is on silent, you will receive that alert and you have to take action. So you have to dismiss it or go into settings if you actually want to turn it off. You can actually turn it off, but as you would expect, the government is saying no, because this is only going to be used in very exceptional, dangerous situations. So it will be weather-related incidents initially. It could be terror as well. I'm not sure we've had that confirmed yet, but certainly weather-related incidents. Then you have to act. But the hope is that it will be so infrequent that you might never get a message, or it might be months or years before you actually do.
And you can turn it off. But this is what I think some people will find a bit odd about it. Thanks very much indeed for the explanation. Right, so is this an essential life-saving technology or an intrusive reminder that the government is always in control? We're joined by journalist and broadcaster Ateh Jewel, who says it's a waste of money, and former detective Peter Bleskley, who says anything that protects public safety has got to be a good thing. Very good morning to you both. Peter, there is something similar from the police, child rescue alert, where you will get a text message if a child is missing and their life is in danger. That alert would also go out on social media channels. I've never received one, but there does seem to be a precedent for this. Now it seems to be extended. You think it's a good idea, but some people disagree. So just explain why you're backing it.
Yeah, primarily this is going to be about floods and fires. And let's look at the fires that we had last summer. We'd never seen fires like that in the UK. So anything that can enhance public safety, I'm completely behind. And I think this is a very good idea. We've been given over a month's notice of the trial of it, so that gives us time to tell our elderly relatives, perhaps, who might be alarmed by it, that this is going to happen.
And our children, by the way.
And our children. It will only apply if you've got 4 or 5G, by the way, on your phone, and you need to have a smartphone of a particular model. I think it's iOS 14.5 at least. You need to have on your phone. And if it's an Android, I believe it's level 11. Okay. So if you've got those phones, if you're 4G and 5G, on the 23rd of April, you will get this notification.
And you think it's useful, it's important, and it's good that they're trialling it?
Absolutely, because if, for example, there's a horrendous fire, like we saw last year, I would rather be notified of that through this alert so that I can evacuate, rather than knowing the first thing about it is when flames are licking up my fence.
But it's got to be rare, hasn't it?
It will be rare. It's only going to be used in rare occasions. And if the fire service are behind it, which they are, then I most certainly subscribe to it.
Right, Ateh, why is that all not persuading you that this is a good thing?
I think we can all agree we want to feel safe, but I do feel this is going to be Pingate 2.0, where the trace and track caused so much nonsense. I think, in my opinion, it's the jazz hands of political policy, the government looking like they're doing something proactive, when, in fact, it's a huge distraction and a waste of money. Let's pay nurses what they should be paid. When teachers are using food banks, this is shameful.
Do you think it's a government idea, that it came from the government?
Well, I just think, I just don't see the point. I see, we all have 24-hour access to news in our pockets anytime we want, or to turn on the TV. I think we should be talking about the Home Secretary in Rwanda. These are things which are really important. It's distraction.
We have this whole emergency planning infrastructure which kicks in when there is nationwide or local emergencies. My assumption is that the experts, the police and the meteorologists, the people who do that emergency planning have all said to the government, we need this capability because that's important to keep people safe.
I don't feel safe, basically. I can turn on the news, I can...
Well, you won't feel safe if you don't get the alert.
I don't think it's necessary. I
Will you
think
turn
we
yours
all
off?
have access to so much information. Let's use the money to support Ukraine. Let's use the money where it should be.
Are you going to turn your alerts off on your phone so you don't get them?
I won't turn it off, but I don't
Why
think
not?
it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary. I can look at the news. My husband has
Turn off?
BBC pinging left, right and centre on his terms.
If you turn yours off, I'll shout at you if there's a problem.
You know what? For a Tory government, I do think this is very nanny state behaviour.
Really?
Yes, I do.
It's so funny that, because it never occurred to me this was any way about parties or politics. I thought this was the emergency expert saying we need this capability to keep people safe. I'm just surprised that you're so sceptical.
Who has sign-off on this? Who has sign-off on this? And who's paying for it?
It's Oliver Dowden, isn't it?
He's the minister,
He's the minister,
Yeah,
so
but
he's got a point that the government signed off on it.
In the end, the government's accountable for all of it.
Yeah.
But it was just surprised me if it was a government idea. This would have come from the experts, I would have thought.
And this has been rolled out in other countries, the States, Canada, the Netherlands. Other countries have adopted this technology and used it. And if it's good enough for them, then I'm very happy about it. It will be targeted. So it actually operates through cell towers. So when there's a particular alert that people need to be notified of, the particular cell towers will be targeted, and the phones within the range of that cell tower will be the ones that get the alert.
The 23rd of April is going to be everybody right across the country.
It's a blanket trial on the 23rd of April, but thereafter, when it's rolled out and used, it will be very specifically targeted.
I wonder whether part of the problem with it is the sound. Because, you know, like you say, you can get alerts on your phone, you get notifications on your phone, but that noise is the kind of alarming thing, isn't it?
The panic, and also what the information, can we trust information? I think during the pandemic we've had an all-time low in terms of the one rule for you, one rule for us. So there's so many questions that kick up for me.
The sound is brilliant. It's not like my washing machine finishing. It's not like my dishwasher finishing. It's completely different from those bleeps. It's specific. I've not heard anything like it before. I think it's excellent.
You do have reservations, though, Peter, because the police, I think, might use it to alert people to a terror attack, but there are concerns about how that might affect people who receive that message.
Well, the police haven't said anything about it yet, so we don't know if they're signed up to it or not. And I'm utterly convinced that there's some very, very careful thinking going into this before the police choose to adopt it or not, possibly. Because, for example, if there were a terrorist attack with marauding terrorists, multiple offenders, and the police used the alarm to usher people away from one particular area, there might be a fear that they would be sending them in the direction of other attackers. So I'm sure the police are giving this a lot of very serious thought.
Actually, I just I'm going to just push back one more time.
Yeah.
It just sort of worries me that, we know that when there was scepticism put around about the vaccine, it meant that some people didn't get the vaccine and then lost their lives. If we get into a mindset where we think anything that the government does or the Tory government does, we can't trust, it makes it very hard to keep people safe when there's an emergency. I just wonder whether it's right to decide that government's always wrong and pigging you and manipulating you. I mean,
I'm pro-vaccine. I took the vaccine. I think that's really useful. But I do, I studied history at university, and I'm very sceptical every time there is a flooding of very unpopular policy or things that people are controversial, alarmist behaviour comes out. And I'm just saying, we've got Dickensian deportation of immigrant policy being sent to Rwanda, which I think is disgraceful. Oh, there's an alarm coming out.
That's
sceptical my opinion.
And cynical. That's interesting. And, of course, we had the WhatsApp messages, didn't we, leaked, in which, clearly the government was saying they wanted to scare the pants off people. So that sounds like it's corroded trust for you.
Well, it clearly has. But a phone alert which says there is a massive fire near your house, you either look at that and think, I should have turned off the message, or you think, that's the government manipulating me, or you think, there's a massive fire near my house, maybe I should make sure me and my family are safe. If it was me, I think I'd go for the latter.
You have news alerts. You've got the control. You can turn on the TV. Can the money not be used to pay nurses and help people who have...
My house is burning. I didn't have the TV on.
Right, well, you're clearly not turning off the alert.
No, look, I mean, I started off wondering what this is all about.
Yeah.
I'm not very persuaded this is a good argument. Do you turn my alert off? I mean, I kind of want to know if there's a big emergency going on.
Yeah.
That's your choice, but I'm not saying
It is
turn
my
the
choice.
alarm off, but I'm just saying there's other
Yeah, but I
things
don't know why you're not turning yours off.
Because I think Ateh is making a really interesting point about the fact that if you want the public on side with this, they need to trust that the information that they're getting is accurate and reliable. And what you seem to be suggesting, Ateh, is that your confidence in government messaging, and not necessarily party political, but government messaging over the years, is that's so.
But if we say
that's significant, isn't it? And you know, people need to cooperate for this to work.
They do.
Yeah, if we trust our authorities, then more people will buy into systems like this. I completely see that argument.
I totally see that argument too.